everyone, and welcome to another session of DIY Professionals, 21 professionals in 2021. And my guest here today is Oshane Spencer. Now, Oshane is a father of one and a husband. He's a senior software developer with over 80 years of experience working as a full-time employee by day and also a freelancer by night. He has had the privilege of working with clients all over the world, bringing their software ideas to life. So please welcome our guest today, Oshane Spencer. Oshane, thank you so much for joining with us on 21 Professionals in 2021.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
All right, awesome. So I just want to find out from you, what's it like being a first-time father, girl dad? You know, what has been your experience so far?
It has been a learning experience. Yeah, trying so far, but learning as we go along.
Okay, awesome. All right, so tell me, you are a senior software developer. Now, senior mean, not no pian business. It means you're not new in this whole thing. You're a veteran, right?
Yeah.
So at such a young age, you're a senior software developer. Tell me a little bit about that. What has been your journey to this point?
Well, I started out early. So actually I started from high school. I had a phone that somehow came by some free internet on the phone. Spent morning, noon, and night on the phone, browsing forums, talking to people from all over the world, learning, asking questions, all other type of thing, doing a bunch of research. And I think my parents can attest to it. Every minute they see me charging the phone. Actually built websites using that phone, mobile websites. I don't know if persons ever had been on websites where they had like some Russian type websites where you go and download music like r-f.win.ru or whatever stuff like. I used to build websites like those from the very phone. So the interest started there. So I was in and around the whole IT thing, but wasn't totally sure which area I wanted to branch off in until I started college and got exposed to a bunch of different things. So yeah, the experience started from a very young age. And it is one thing that I usually say is that if anybody's interested in anything, it will show. So my interest was there and I spent the time and I did a lot of research, reading, practicing, all of that.
Okay, so what became the defining factor? Because, all right, so for me, I wanted to be a lawyer when I was younger, and of course I didn't follow down that path, right? I want to find out from you, because a lot of times children are interested in things from a very early age, right? Sometimes parents don't know how to develop or nurture this interest. So what was the defining factor for you that made you say, this is definitely what I want to go into, and how instrumental were your parents in the process?
Well, for one, my parents were always supportive. Whether it's me wanting to change internet provider or them trying to get me a phone or them trying to get me a computer, whatever it was, they were always supportive, ensuring that I had what I needed. Right. My defining moment, because like I said, I was in and around the whole IT thing. I could do any and everything in the IT world. But the defining moment for me was when I went on an internship at the first company I worked in 2015, I think, right? So they had asked me to develop a software for them, and I was able to get that done in 3 days. Yeah, so of course afterwards there was feedback and needed to make adjustments here and there, whatever it was. It was an inventory management system. So for me, being able to create that and to to see the joy that it brought, and just you put in your work into something, and just to see it come alive, and to see
Right,
that
right.
it's functioning, it's useful, people want it. That for me kind of say, you know what, let me branch off into software development, and it took off from there. But I've been actually doing a lot of development from before that, but that was the defining moment. At that point, I dropped networking, I dropped computer hardware, I dropped any other field in any other area in IT, so, and started to focus on software development.
Okay, okay. So what I'm getting from you is that you were in the broad field of IT, kind of working your way around to kind of find, what is your niche? What is the thing that really gets you going?
Yeah.
And so it's important for you to kind of get a broad perspective of, your area, play around with different points of it to kind of find what is it for you. Because sometimes persons may say, I love teaching, but then they don't know what area to go into. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting from you. Kind of go into the different areas and then find out which is your niche.
Yeah, and a lot of persons may not be fortunate enough to get the hands-on experience with the different areas. So as much as you can research in the age of information, a simple Google search, everybody's on YouTube these days, use it for something constructive. Have a look at what it's like, hear from other persons in the industry, that kind of thing. Because like I said, I spoke with a lot of persons.
Okay.
Right. From the very moment I started out, I spoke with a lot of persons. And then for me, I've always thought of myself to be a problem solver. So a lot of times I take the initiative to try and figure it out on my own. And when I'm stuck that I reach out for assistance, right? And getting the assistance at that point in time, it clicks a lot more, because I tried it on my own. So they mention X, I know exactly what they're talking about, because I did the research, I understood. And for me, that's how I learn. I try to be hands-on and move from there.
So get fully immersed in what you're doing and also ask for advice from others that are in the field. Now tell me, so you're senior development, software development person, right? So for me that don't know nothing about IT, and I only know the basics of turn on computer, whatever. Tell me, if you were to define what your job is like just give a basic as job description, tell me what is it that you do on a day-to-day basis?
I may not be able to get into the nitty-gritty details, but to put it simply for persons who may not know what a software developer does, the software that you use on your computer, for example, like Zoom, it was created by someone. As a software developer, I could create something like that. Obviously, it's complex, so it's not something I can say I'm just going to create it and I create it overnight. It's complex,
Right.
but a software developer created the application that you use on a computer, which is Zoom, or even Microsoft Word, for those who are more familiar with that. I also create things like Facebook. So like somebody had to create Facebook, like the actual website that you use, somebody had to create it. And so things like that I'm able to do. And one of the things that I want to distinguish is that yes, Facebook is a website, but it's so much more complex than a website. And what you'd call that is a web application. So it has a lot more functionality than a website that may just provide information. It's interactive, you enter details, it's able to save it to a database, it's able to retrieve the data that you entered, all of that. It's a full-on system, working system. So things like that I'm able to work with. I work with databases as well.
Okay, understand. All right, so you said that you are a freelancer by night. So
Yeah.
I'm a budding entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
For instance, I want to set up a shopping app for my goods and services. Is that something that you would do for somebody like me in terms of develop an app or a website that persons can come and shop for my goods or stuff like that?
Yeah, that's something I do as well. So mobile apps, it's not where I'd specialize in. I'm more focused on web applications, but
Okay.
if I put my head to it, I can do it. It's the same principles, same fundamental, it's the same fundamentals, right? So it can be applied, the same principles can be applied to develop a mobile app, as well as the websites, to have persons, the e-commerce website to allow persons to go on, purchase, um, and to get their goods. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me, how difficult or how easy it is for you to be a full-time employee and then also a freelancer, an entrepreneur, working in such a technical field. A lot of times persons say, oh, I am working a 9 to 5 job. I don't have time, to do anything else on the side. Tell me how easy or how difficult it has been for you. And if there are persons who would be coming on and listening to this interview, what would be some of the things that you would tell them to, help them to maneuver that space between being a full-time employee and also doing freelance work?
All right. So let me first establish that doing freelancing a lot of the times it's who I am at heart, right? I love it. I love doing it. That said, um, let's put it like this. Our Dr. Miles Monroe would have said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that your full-time job is just your job, but it's not your work. So it's what you do after that is your work, right? What it is that you want to do for yourself. Now, I don't necessarily have anything against 9 to 5s. Obviously, I have one, but I mean, you need something to pay the bills. You need something to feed your family, all of that. But at the end of the day, you're making somebody else rich.
Right.
Right. At the end of the day, if the proverbial thing hits the fan, then what happens? They're not going to look out for you. And I always tell persons this, that I'm able to do it, right? Because I have the experience, I have the skill set. A lot of persons may not be as fortunate, but persons should invest in themselves and in their skills and their knowledge so that they can put themselves in such position where don't be loyal to a company. They're not going to be loyal to you. Push come to shove, they're going to drop you. Anything happen to you, they're going to replace you. I don't be loyal to any one company, right? I mean, of course, the people that are there, you love them, you build relationships with them, but that should if it's real, it should extend outside of the work environment or where you work, what your job title is. So,
and then your 9 to 5 is also helping to build you as well. So you draw.
Right.
Okay.
So you get a certain level of experience, but like, for example, a lot of persons, what they're doing their 9 to 5 may not necessarily be what they want to do long term. But of course, aside from paying the bills, it does it does improve your skill set, it does improve your mindset, depending on how you look at it and how you approach it. So it's a perspective from there, right? But freelancing, whether it's building your business, I encourage persons to do that so as to get some level of independence. It don't think it's easier because you work a 9 to 5, you just have to go in to do your task. But if you look around, you have co-workers, they're employed to do other tasks as well. If you're starting a business, you're the one that's gonna have to do everything. So in the starting, of course, until you make enough, can hire somebody to do whatever. Right. So it's not easy, but it's more fulfilling. And there, I mean, Maslow's hierarchy tell you there are certain things that humans need. One of that is self-actualization. That's at the top. I'm not sure you're gonna get that at a 9 to 5, and it may be for some persons, but for me, I'm not gonna get that at a 9 to 5.
Understand. All right. So tell me, you say it is one of the most fulfilling things. Can you think of any moment being or doing your freelancing work that has been so fulfilling that You know, even though you mentioned before that it's gonna be difficult, you'll have hard times, that has really, you know, pushed you to say, you know, I'm gonna keep at this thing, even though there are the hurdles, the
Mhm.
obstacles. Just one moment that may come to your mind that be like, wow, this was an awesome, you know, feeling from doing my freelancing work.
Well, as a creative, just being able to look at the finished product,
Mm-hmm.
knowing all that you put into it, the uphill climb, what they're doing with a client and the heartache would then probably give you. Just looking at the finished product,
Right.
knowing that it's doing what it's supposed to do, you can just look back and say, wow, I built that. So I mean, that would be it for me. Like, just having a look at the finished product, and then, like I said, I like solving problems. So
Mm-hmm.
the technicalities of creating certain software, it's a nerdy thing to say, but it's invigorating.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so one other thing I want to find out from you though, have you thought about going into, you know, doing this freelancing thing as a full-time thing? You know, what are your hopes or dreams, aspirations 5 years down the line? Where do you see yourself in terms of, you know, launching this whole thing to make it bigger? Or is it that you believe in still holding on to your 9 to 5 while doing work on the side? What is your take on this?
Personally, for me, I want to get to a point where I can um be somewhere on the beach and have persons do things for me, right? So I have clients coming in, and I have hire other developers to do the work, take something off the top or whatever business model I choose to go with, and move from there. So the 9 to 5 thing is not something I want to do forever.
Mhm,
So but that's what I would like to get to, like, have so even though it's a business that you're running, to have it
mhm,
somewhat passive, in the sense that you don't have to necessarily be active in the day to day. You
uh,
find persons that you can trust, that you can work with, that are willing to work with you, that believe in what you believe in.
mhm.
You trust them to do whatever. You leave it with them, and you move from there.
Okay, okay,
And
understood.
yeah, and in this digital age, anything is possible. And it's the boundaries are, it's not so um it's a lot borderless, and not as
Mhm.
many boundaries as if it were just without the digital age, so anything is possible. So passive income is where it's at. That's the aim, that's the goal. Not something that I have to dedicate 9 to 5, you know. Whether it's my own thing or not, I don't want to work even on my own thing 9 to 5. But of course, in the very beginning, you will have to put in the work, whether
Right.
it's 10, 15 hours a day, whatever it is, you just have to do what you have to do.
Okay, understand. All right. So kind of give me a ballpark figure, an
Mhm.
average of what, you know, some of the work that you have done, you know, what are some of the things that you would charge, stuff like that. So if persons were seeking out your expertise, what would be kind of the average price that you would probably say, you know, they would need to have, you know, stuff like that? Because I know that a lot of persons moving into the whole scope of COVID-19, the pandemic, a lot of persons have been having to go digital, having
Mhm.
to ensure that their services are online, their brand is online, stuff like that. And so persons have to be creating websites and doing
Mhm.
these different things, you know. So what would be like a ballpark figure, an average that you would say for persons if they were looking to solicit your expertise?
Um, it's a bit too vague to give a ballpark figure, because there are a lot of intricate details that you have to take into consideration.
Mhm.
Um, whether it's your hosting, and whether I have to do a custom software, whether I can piggyback off something. It depends on the features that's needed. Um, the market may may matter as well, because what you probably charge to somebody in the US, it's a bit difficult to charge, unless it's a company, of course. It's a bit difficult to charge that to an individual that's trying to do something. You understand? So something that might cost you thousands of US dollars, it's a bit unrealistic to expect an individual to just come up with that, right? But of course, a company would be able to. So it really and truly just varies. A lot of parameters to take into consideration.
Okay, understand. All right, so Oshane, though, if persons wanted to reach out to you to solicit your services, how could they reach out to you? Are you on Instagram, Facebook? How can persons solicit your help?
Can send me an email, oshanespencertech@gmail.com, or visit my website, oshanespencer.com. Reach out to me from there. Yeah, I'm on IG, but that I don't do business on IG as yet, so it's more on a personal level so far.
Okay, all right, then no problem. All right, so what is the difference between the website and the web application?
So the website would be more informational. You go on the website, you see what the company is about, you see they're about us, the services they offer, you're able to contact them. A web application, now you have functionality with it, in the sense that you're able to log in. It uses a database, right? So you're able to log in, you're able to enter values, the application is able to retrieve that. It's able to provide different functionality based on the information that you enter. So like I said, for Facebook, for example, you're able to log into Facebook, you're able to send people messages, you're able to post, make a post, whether it's uploading a photo, a video, or a text. You're able to visit somebody's profile, you're able to tag persons, you're able to comment on posts, like them, whatever it is that Facebook offers. So that would be the difference. The web application offers more functionality than just a plain old website that provides information. So yeah, so the web application is more about functionality, and the website would be more about design.
Okay.
If I were to put it like that, yeah.
All right, so in the web application, is it that, like, for instance, say I want persons to interact with the brand in terms of rating it based on their whole
experience
using the product, right? So they rate it, or if it is a matter of rating a customer service rep, probably talking to a customer service agent to get more feedback. That's so what you mean in terms of web application, because I'm trying to understanding different from a social media kind of thing, like what you explain with Facebook. But what if like I am a company wanting to do a web application? Would that be some of the features that would probably be a part of the web application?
That could be, as well as it could be on a website as well, right? For persons that know about WordPress, you're able to add plugins. For one, and if you're hardcore like that, you can customize WordPress directly. You're able to add plugins to add functionality to the website. So it's still a website, but you're able to add functionality. But things that I would do is, for example, I would probably be somebody that creates the plugin, as opposed to creating a website and then adding the plugin so that it's functional on the website and that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Understand. In the freelancing, do you do like sessions to teach persons how to create websites, or how to do the basics, helping persons to become software developers? Is that a part of your freelancing work?
Not currently.
It's something that you have considered, though?
It's something that I've considered, where I create probably online content, but not necessarily hands-on with somebody. Okay. Here's the thing now. Here's what I go off of. Like I said earlier, persons that are interested they will do what they need to do to get the
Mm-hmm.
information that they need to get, right? So they will do their research. They may watch this video and they may say, oh, Oshane is a software developer, I'm interested in being one. They may reach out to me and ask me a question. No problem
Okay.
with that, right? But I'm not going to encourage or push anybody to do whatever. They have to be able to push themselves,
Right,
because
right.
so when I started college some time ago, um, one of the first class, the first classes teachers usually try to get to know you, ask your name, some questions, whatever. One of the first classes I ever had, the teacher asked, "Why are you here?" And
Mm,
he went out through the room asking everybody that before saying why he asked,
okay.
right? Because some may say they're here because their parents send them, some may here because they need a degree or whatever. They might be doing it for somebody, right? But he said that if you're not doing it for yourself, it's gonna be easy to quit.
Mm,
It's gonna be easy to quit, right? So you have to want it for yourself. You have to. I mean, there's a lot of content out there, a lot, and
right, right.
it's not top secret. If you find it, if you do sufficient research, you can find it. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's plain old Google, a lot of articles are there. Whether you go on a site like Udemy to find persons that have done courses, whatever it is, there are a lot of resources available. So
Mhm.
persons have to want it. I can only try and point persons to the right direction. If
Right.
they need hands-on assistance, I can probably provide that. But persons have to want it and have to get after it for themselves.
Okay. All right. So if you had any last final words that you wanted to, encourage persons out there who are freelancers,
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, right? What would you say to encourage them? Then also, if there is a, young person who is thinking about software development,
Mhm.
what would be the words that you would say to encourage them in this particular field?
Change your mindset. Simple as that. Reason being, a lot of persons, when it comes to programming or software development, whatever the terminology I want to use, they have
Mhm.
this mind block against it. There's this instant mind block that it's hard. There's this instant mind block that they can't do it, that they can't understand. Nobody's expecting you to get it on the first try, but you have to be resilient enough to keep trying, right? You have to be able to try, you have to be able to use the resources at hand. Like I said, we're in the information age, everything is at your disposal. Like you don't have to pay somebody to teach you per
Mhm.
se. Like YouTube is there, a lot of persons that write articles, a lot of persons are willing to answer questions in the community, right? The online community, right? So it's you have to be resilient, right? You have to change your mindset in the sense that you have to take it from a different perspective, right? Persons that may consider themselves old are taking up this thing these days, right? And young persons that are brilliant, if they put their mind to it, they can do it, are saying that it's hard and they're not doing it. It's just how you change. It's just how you look at things, right? Same thing with maths, I guess. It has some arithmetic logic involved. So they
Right.
might say that some amount of maths is involved or some amount of logical or critical thinking is involved and they shun it. Just change your mindset. That's all. It's what you think, it's how you perceive, it's your perspective, how you view things that will affect the result. So you just have to be resilient, you have to be determined. You have to want it for yourself, and it's not just a kind of want it, like you maybe today, maybe not. You have to want it, like every day. You have to want it. You have to be determined. You have to be focused. Growing up, and I mean, for me, looking back now, I probably wish I loosened up a bit, but for me, growing up, I put off today's pleasure for tomorrow.
Right.
I always I've always been of the mindset that let me do what I need to do now so that I can enjoy it later. I put in the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
In high school, a lot of friends and maybe enjoying themselves, whatever, but I'm there putting in the work, right? So you have to be able to see your friends going to a party or your friends going to a games night or whatever it is and say, no, you're going to take the time, you make a commitment, you're going to stick to it. You have to be able to do that because in this profession, I'm not there yet, but in this profession, like if you play your cards right, you set yourself up properly, you can retire early. It is possible, right? It's just how you set yourself up, or you put yourself out there, how you play your cards, and of course, money management as well, right? Because you can have all the money in the world and still poor, right? So it's really and truly how you set yourself up. So that's about it. Like information is there, it's just us to consume it and to apply it.
All right. So thank you so much, Oshane. I really appreciate you taking the time to be a part of 21 professionals in 2021. And there you have it, guys. You have heard from Oshane himself. It's not just only about having an apt for a particular field, but you also have to apply yourself, do the necessary research, put in the work, and forego certain pleasures that you can have now in order to enjoy them in the future. Because, in order to reach at the top of your game, to be a senior software developer who has not even reached 30 years old, might I add, it means that you've got to apply yourself from very early and be very focused and driven enough to be able to see where it is that you want to go and to be able to accomplish it. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in on 21 Professionals. And until next time, this is your DIY professional saying that you can do it because it's time to become the best version of you. Until next time, bye.